afternoon to you. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks for joining us on Sports4CLE. I'm Dave Bacon, a jam-packed show. We will talk NCAA basketball with John Fanta. We'll also head down to Goodyear, Arizona, and hear from Logan Allen, who is tearing it up on the mound. The big left-hander for the Indians has had a great spring. We will hear from him. But we're going to begin where we always do, Cleveland Browns, and we're excited to have Browns beat reporter Kay Cabot. You can read her in the pages of the Plain Dealer. You can also see and read her here on cleveland.com as well. Kay, as always, appreciate the time and the insight. Let's get right at it. Free agent class still kind of being shaped, but what is your favorite free agent signing that Andrew Berry has made this year for that defense?
Well, I think it has to be John Johnson. I mean, he was this year's version for the defense of what Jack Conklin was last year for the offense. He was their number one target in free agency. He's going to come in here. He's going to start. He probably will also, not probably, but he has a chance possibly to wear the green dot. It'll kind of probably be between him and Anthony Walker, who does that. But that will be the defensive signal caller between those two guys. He just brings a lot of leadership. He brings some good speed, coverage, the ability to tackle, and just really kind of work the middle of that field, which they really need.
Yeah, that has been an area, if you've watched the Browns for any length of time, tight ends, middle of the field, and they really concentrated on improving that and improving the team's speed as well.
They really did, and that is one of the reasons why they went out and got Anthony Walker instead of re-signing B.J. Goodson. They got more speed. They got a little faster at the linebacker position. So when they're in two linebackers and in those sub defenses like nickel and dime, they'll probably have like Jacob Phillips and Anthony Walker on the field just to increase the speed in those types of passing situations for the most part. So they did what they set out to do. They didn't need to have a real flashy free agency period. They didn't need to add 10 guys. They had some pieces and parts that they needed to fill in with, and they did that.
The other thing, is there an underrated signing that you look at and say, boy, this, not everybody is going crazy about it, but this could end up being a really good fit for the Browns?
Well, there's one that has a lot of question marks attached to it, and that's Takk McKinley. I mean, nobody really knows if he will be the Takk that he was as a rookie and as a sophomore when he had 6 sacks and then 7 sacks, or if he will be the Takk that really didn't pan out in Atlanta and the one that the Raiders decided that they were not going to re-sign. So the Browns are hoping that the change of scenery does him a world of good. They were hoping that he comes in here hungry, that he's really ready to roll, and that they get a lot out of it.
And he did say all the right things. You can't force a guy to say that, but he said all the things you would want to hear in that introductory press conference.
He really did. I mean, he was, I wrote it this way, that he was dressed for success. He showed up in a suit and a tie. And, that's saying something right there. That's basically saying, I mean business, and I'm going to try to show the world that I'm a different player than the one that that left and that was released by the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, think about that. He was their first round pick in 2017, and he's gone from there. Cleveland fans know what that is all about, right? But this is an opportunity for him to right the ship and to get his career back on track, and he seems ready to do that.
So they signed Takk McKinley, guy with a huge upside potentially, former first-round pick, as you mentioned. Do you think there's still a veteran pass rusher that they're looking at trying to sign potentially, or do you think that ship sailed?
It's hard to say. You still have Jadeveon Clowney out there right now. He's somebody that I will always have my eye on for them, just because they made an offer to him last year that was greater than anyone else's offer, both in a one-year deal and on a multi-year contract. So therefore, you always kind of have him in the back of your mind as maybe someone who would be willing to take a prove-it type of one-year deal to come in here as the offseason goes along. So that's one to kind of keep an eye on. But this could be setting up for them to try to draft an edge rusher. Now, they don't have to. They feel pretty good about what they have right now. But it sort of sets up that in the event that one is there for them somewhere in the first round, they can go grab him.
Another guy, we talked about a little bit a couple weeks ago was Danielle Hunter. That would be an awfully tough one to pry free. You'd have to do that via trade. and take somebody willing to trade. And I don't necessarily think he. Do you see any scenario where they may be willing to trade him?
No, not right now, because really he is their version of Myles Garrett. He did not play this season because he had neck surgery up there in Minnesota. But the previous 2 seasons, he had 14 and a half sacks. He's just tremendous at his job. He's just one of those great elite pass rushers. He's a little bit disgruntled right now because his contract isn't what it should be. It's a very low with the new contracts that came out. He's only averaging $14.4 million a year, which, as we know, is about to be $10 million less than what Myles Garrett's making, and more like 12 less than Joey Bosa. So he does need a new deal. I'm sure they'll probably come through with that for him. But so I doubt that they would be willing to move him. Any team would want a shot at Hunter if they could get it.
Now, we always talk about sacks, but when you mentioned Jadeveon Clowney, no sacks. But let's take a look at this graphic. And he did have the most pressures without a sack. And the top 2 guys on this list are still veteran edge rushers with kind of big names, big reputations that are still out there and available. Do you see any scenario where those guys are bargain basement where you can get them done and get them in on highly incentive-laden deals? And would that interest you if you're the Browns?
Well, I would think it would. I would think it would, because the contract for Takk McKinley is so modest at $4.25 million that you could actually go sign another one of those guys in the possibly $6 million a year range, or $5 million a year with incentives type of range, and get what you need. So I think it's something to keep an eye on. I don't think it's front burner. I don't think they're bringing one of those guys in the next 2 days that I know of. But I wouldn't rule it out. I really wouldn't rule it out. There just seems to be some thought that this is such a good such a good edge rush class, that they probably think that they can get a guy maybe in the first round, maybe even in the second round.
Mary Kay Cabot, Browns beat reporter here on cleveland.com, as well as in the pages of the Plain Dealer. We'll step aside, take a quick timeout. On the other side of the break, we're going to talk about this year's free agent class, last year's free agent class, and how the Browns front office has done it. There's a plan, they followed it, and it looks like it's working pretty well. Sports4CLE will be right back. We're talking Browns and building this roster when we return.
Tri-C is here for you. Now more than ever, you need a post-secondary education. So I encourage you to start your journey here at Tri-C. The majority of classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your 4-year plans have changed, Tri-C is where futures begin.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Well, hello, everyone. Let me tell you a little bit about Browns Football Insider. For only $3.99 a month, you can get text sent right to your phone each day from me, Dan Lobby, Scott Pasco, and Ellis Williams. In addition to that, you'll receive a Football Insider newsletter every day with special things from us, things that you won't see anywhere else on the site. You'll get breaking news, analysis, features, film breakdown, and things like that. Texting us directly gives you a great chance to cut through the clutter of Facebook, Twitter, other social media, and avoid the trolls. Also, it's the only way to get your questions on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. So why should you sign up? Try a 14-day free trial. You can cancel at any time. All it takes is one text, but you won't want to cancel. We have hundreds of subscribers join us over the last year. They love it and have stayed with us. We're seeing the Football Insider community grow every week. and it's only $3.99 a month, which is less than 14 cents a day. What I like most about Football Insider is the opportunity to connect with you one-on-one and really communicate with you. So how can you become a Football Insider? You can click on cleveland.com/Browns, the blue banner at the top of the page. Or easier yet, text me at 216-208-3965. Again, that's 216-208-3965.
Sports4CLE continues. I'm Dave Bacon. We're going to continue talking about the Cleveland Browns and how they are building out this roster, the second free agent class for Andrew Berry. And let's welcome back in Mary Kay Cabot, Browns beat reporter. Mary Kay, you saw it last year. There was a blueprint. You understood what they were doing. You see it again this year on the defensive side of the ball. How impressed are you by Andrew Berry and the way he's kind of identified and building this roster and filling it out, plugging deficiencies on both sides of the ball?
Well, I think it's very methodical. It's very organized. There are a lot of analytics involved. They're spending their money wisely and judiciously. As you can see, there are so many football teams right now that have a lot of dead cap space, and the Browns have like $1 million in dead cap space. They really have managed that incredibly well. I mean, there are teams like like the Rams that couldn't keep John Johnson because they have $39 million in dead cap space or something like that. So they're doing a great job from that standpoint. But as you mentioned, they're filling spots, they're filling holes, and they're not breaking the bank to do it. What they did this year was, yes, they did have interest in some of those bigger named edge rushers that we saw out there, the Trey Hendricksons, the Carl Lawsons, and those kinds of guys. But they set a price for each one of those guys, and they refused to go over it. So when those prices started to climb and they got into the 13 millions and the 14 millions and the 15 millions, they got out of the sweepstakes. A lot of those guys come with a little bit of risk, and they were not willing to throw the kitchen sink at them. So I think you see them being patient, letting it kind of come to them a little bit, but also by the same token, going out and grabbing a couple of guys they really want.
The flip side of it is, you've seen a lot of front offices and the dynamics. How refreshing, how impressive is it to see what's going on in Berea the last 2 years since Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski have come in together?
Well, they are doing a terrific job in every way. And I will tell you this, I talked to a lot of agents during the free agency period, okay? A lot of agents, and some that I have gone back with for many years. And they are giving rave reviews to this front office and the way that they do business. And their players want to play here. They are being able to place players in Cleveland, and they're excited to come here. And that's different because now they know they're going to win. They know that they're going to have a chance to challenge for the Super Bowl, and this is the place that they want to be. I was able to write, John Johnson's agents told me, we might have talked about this last week, that he turned down more money to come to the Cleveland Browns. So that's pretty remarkable that now that's where the Browns are, where people want to play here. They prefer to come here than some other teams because they see the culture, they see the winning, and they like the way that Andrew and Kevin are dealing with the players and the agents.
Well, the other side of it is Browns fans have been talking about it, and it's fueled a little bit by us, I guess, because you have Baker Mayfield that's coming up that's got to get an extension. You have Denzel Ward. You have Nick Chubb. You have Wyatt Teller. There's a lot of guys that are young, talented guys getting ready for new contracts. The good news is this new media rights deal is going to send the NFL salary cap up. It's $10 billion, which is about a 40% increase. The salary cap will get adjusted up based on that number. So you got to trust that this front office has an eye. Yeah, we got to take care of business this offseason, but they know what's coming, and they know that they're going to have the ability to likely keep the core of this young team together, which Browns fans, again, it doesn't happen that way that often, but the timing finally seems to hit in Cleveland's favor.
Yeah, it really will. And it's coming at a time, as you mentioned, that some big paydays are coming due. So Myles Garrett's big extension will start to kick in soon. And then So will Baker Mayfield's when they decide to do it. And so will Denzel Ward's. And you probably will be able to then pay Wyatt Teller, Nick Chubb. So it is all coming together at the right time. And, the only thing that they'll have to try to figure out is who do they extend this offseason and who do they wait to extend next offseason? Of course, the biggest decision is Baker Mayfield because he will take up the biggest chunk of your salary cap and the biggest amount of cash that you actually have to pay out. So it's a decision that they will have to make. They don't have to make it right away, but it's something to think about. And, we've talked about this before. There's a large part of me that thinks waiting until next offseason would be good, not only for the club, but for the player.
Yeah, without question. And because again, if Baker Mayfield has another really good year, front office is happy to pay him. That means things are going great. Yeah, let's give him a little extra money. Here's the other thing. Again, Andrew Berry, I believe, has earned the benefit of the doubt. He has shown there's a plan, there's a method, it's very structured. He knows what he's doing. Let's give this guy the benefit of the doubt in these decisions.
Yes, absolutely. And what that also would give Baker Mayfield an opportunity to do is to bolster his resume a little bit. I mean, he's going to get paid more if he makes a Pro Bowl, has a rating in the hundreds, takes the Browns deeper into the playoffs, maybe goes to the Super Bowl. Then you're going to have to break the bank for him. And he likes to bet on himself that way. So that's another thing. You might light a little bit of a fire under him by giving him an opportunity to go out this year and really show that he's worth the, the $40 million that you might have to pay him.
Yeah, I would safe to say if those things happen, Browns will be waiting there with pen in hand to sign the check for Baker Mayfield. Mary Kay Cabot, we're going to take one more. Well, we're going to take two more, but quick timeout here. On the other side of the break, we're going to take a look at just how much of a leader Baker Mayfield has become for this franchise. And the truth is in what players are saying. Sports4CLE, we'll be right back. We're talking Baker Mayfield as the leader of the Browns when we return.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
We're living in uncertain times, but you don't have to put your future on hold. At Tri-C, you can move ahead while staying safe and saving money. The majority of classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, check out Tri-C's programs and resources, because Tri-C is where futures begin.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Do you like Ohio State football? Would you like to get information from me, Doug Maurice, about Ohio State football without having to look at my face? We have got the plan for you. Become an Ohio State text subscriber through cleveland.com. You send a text, 614-350-3315. What do you get? 2, 3, 4 texts right in your phone every day about Ohio State football. Inside information, polls, voting, all kinds of things. You can be on our podcast. We take text subscriber questions on our Buckeye Talk podcast every week. If you really want to be involved with Ohio State football, in season or out of season, become an Ohio State text subscriber from cleveland.com. Send a text to 614-350-3315. 14-day free trial. What do you have to lose? $3.99 a month after that. 614-350-3315. I'll see you in your phone.
Sports4CLE continues. A little bit of a sneak preview there, as that's Tack McKinley we continue talking Browns and how this roster and this organization has been built. And Mary Kay alluded to it. Agents are given the feedback that everybody wants to come here. They like the front office. They like the head coach. And when you talk to the players, they see that something's going on. Something really good is going on in Cleveland. And it has to do with the front office, the head coach, as well as the quarterback.
This team they have something different. I don't know what it is, but they have something different. And it's obvious. Like when I signed, I mean, the first person to hit me up was Baker. And he didn't have to do that, you know what I'm saying? He didn't at all, but for him to, to send me a text message or whatnot, that right there means a lot. And like I said, I'm just proud to, come join this team and keep trying to win games and keep changing the narrative.
He texted me actually right after the news was announced. He reached out to me. Obviously, when you got the quarterback, the franchise quarterback reaching out to you when you first sign and know you're joining becoming a part of the team. It's always nice to get that welcome. So definitely was appreciative of him for that.
And that is Anthony Walker, Tack McKinley, the two of the signees in free agency. Let's welcome back in Mary Kay Cabot. Mary Kay, when we say Baker is a leader and doing great things, it's one thing. When you have players who are signing here and talking about him as a franchise quarterback and an elite quarterback on the defensive side of the ball, these free agents, that's quite another thing.
It really is. I do think that it shows tremendous leadership. I mean, the minute these guys are agreeing to terms, they are getting a welcome, a personal welcome from Baker Mayfield. And that's meaning a lot to these guys. So it's showing great leadership on his part. And I think it follows along with what he did last year, which was to organize a Camp Mayfield down in Austin. I'm assuming he'll probably do something similar again this year to get guys together, to get out there, start throwing the ball around and get their timing down a little bit and work on some plays. Now they know the offense. So I think he'll do something like that. And I just think he's doing a nice job in that regard.
Yeah, and again, that's the feel, that's the look, that's the way franchise quarterbacks act. You're part of us now.
Absolutely. And these guys, even though some of them are veterans, they've been around since 2017, longer than Baker's been around, but it still is very meaningful for them, and it's going to make them feel very welcome when they come on board. The other thing I think to note about these guys that they're adding is lots of leadership skills, lots of high character guys. I mean, Anthony Walker, we had such a great interview with him yesterday. Such an incredible young man. And you can tell by when his teammates were just devastated to see him go. His coaches talked about him that way. Chris Ballard, the GM of the Colts, talked about him in that regard. So you really know that the kind of guys the Browns are getting.
Yeah, that kind of leads into the next question. When you take the wide view of it, what has Andrew Berry added in this class, this free agent class so far? And there could be more, but when you take the big overview, how has he made this defense better?
Well, first and foremost, from an on-the-field standpoint, they really have bolstered the middle of the defense. So they've added speed and they've just added power over the middle. They did add, again, in Tack, potentially someone that can come in and show just a lot of explosiveness and speed off that other edge side, even if it doesn't necessarily translate into a bunch of sacks, somebody that has an opportunity to do that. So they really did focus on the defense this year. But as you mentioned, they continue to transform the culture. They're adding guys that are smart, tough, accountable. They love the game of football. They would play it probably in some cases for a lot less than they do because they are just gym rat kind of guys. Just in talking to people about John Johnson, what an upbeat, energetic, enthusiastic young man. I think Browns fans are going to love him. So this is Andrew Berry and Kevin are putting together some very special Cleveland Browns football. Yeah,
the other side of it is we've talked about it. The guys that they're adding both were used to being the defensive signal callers in John Johnson and Anthony Walker. That tells you, one, their teammates respond to them. Two, they're football smart.
Oh, yeah. And I'll tell you, even if you just read, there was a quote from Chris Ballard where he was saying that if Anthony Walker gets into coaching, that he will be an NFL head coach someday. And if he gets into scouting, he will be a GM. That's how much they think of him. What he did, and the reason why you had Darius Leonard, an All-Pro, saying things like, I wouldn't be me without him, is because he would help coach those guys up. He would study film and he would pass out notes and his scouting report on the opposition. In fact, he gave a glowing scouting report before that game last year, Browns versus Colts, on Baker Mayfield. And teammates were saying, oh, now we get it. Now we understand you wanted to go to Cleveland. But, Anthony was, joking around with us about that and saying he really saw that in Baker Mayfield from studying the film and just being a fan all the way back to his Oklahoma days.
The other thing about these guys, and you alluded to it, usually when professional guys are sad to see teammates go, it's because those guys make other players that are playing with them better. That's the reason you don't want a guy to leave your team, because he makes you better. And I think you saw that with John Johnson and with Anthony Walker as well.
Yes, absolutely. And John Johnson was a captain of the Rams' #1 ranked defense. There were 3 defensive captains, and he was one of them. And that says a lot for a young man like that, especially, someone in the secondary. So, good for him. And these guys, they are very, very high IQ, very smart football players. So I think you're going to be seeing, and Kevin loves that about his guys, and so does Joe Woods. They love guys that are almost like another coach on the field, and they just added a couple of them.
Mary Kay Cabot, Browns beat reporter, and I'm going to take one more time out on the other side of the break. We'll talk about some of the Browns that are coming back, as well as a native Clevelander who helped sell John Johnson on Cleveland way back when they were at Boston College. Sports for CLE will be right back. Stay with us.
Tri-C is here for you. Now more than ever, you need a post-secondary education. So I encourage you to start your journey here at Tri-C. The majority of classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your 4-year plans have changed, Tri-C is where futures begin.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Well, hello, everyone. Let me tell you a little bit about Browns Football Insider. For only $3.99 a month, you can get text sent right to your phone each day from me, Dan Lobby, Scott Pasco, and Ellis Williams. In addition to that, you'll receive a Football Insider newsletter every day with special things from us, things that you won't see anywhere else on the site. You'll get breaking news, analysis, features, film breakdown, and things like that. Texting us directly gives you a great chance to cut through the clutter of Facebook, Twitter, other social media, and avoid the trolls. Also, it's the only way to get your questions on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. So why should you sign up? Try a 14-day free trial. You can cancel at any time. All it takes is one text, but you won't want to cancel. We have hundreds of subscribers join us over the last year. They love it and have stayed with us. We're seeing the Football Insider community grow every week. And it's only $3.99 a month, which is less than 14 cents a day. What I like most about Football Insider is the opportunity to connect with you one-on-one and really communicate with you. So how can you become a Football Insider? You can click on cleveland.com/Browns, the blue banner at the top of the page. Or easier yet, text me at 216-208-3965. Again, that's 216-208-3965.
Welcome back to Sports4CLE. We continue talking Cleveland Browns football with Mary Kay Cabot, Browns beat reporter. Mary Kay wrote an article this week about how John Johnson was pretty much recruited throughout college by his college teammate, Kevin Cavalick. Kevin played at St. Ignatius. They played together, roomed together at Boston College. Mary Kay, take us through that, and kind of fascinating and interesting.
To talk to Kevin about this, and I told him, I'm also part of the St. Ignatius family. My son went to St. Ignatius and graduated from there, so we kind of had that connection too. So that was cool. But he told me the story of how right after he got out of St. Ignatius, they had to head right off to BC for practice and summer college already. And he got paired right away with John Johnson because of their last names. It was alphabetical. So they were roommates right away as freshmen, and then they stayed roommates for 4 years. And then he talked about how in their senior year, there were 6 guys in the dorm. And, one of them was Drew Barksdale from Solon High School. And another one of them was Matt Milano, the linebacker for the Bills that just re-signed his contract there. Actually he switched from the Lions to the Bills, I believe. Anyways, no, I have that wrong. But nevertheless, Matt Milano, they were all in the dorm together, and it was very Cleveland centric, the dorm. And John Johnson had to listen to Kevin talking about the Cavs, Indians, Browns, living and dying with his Cleveland sports teams. But he really, really sold him on Cleveland. John Johnson was over the moon to come here because of that.
Yeah, and it was, he said that, he understood how passionate that Browns fans and Clevelanders are about their sports, and it's really because he was living with a couple of them in the dorm. So he was legitimate with that. And, you could tell John Johnson wasn't making it up by his bark at the end of his introductory hi, it's great to be in Cleveland. So he was telling us the truth. Let's move on. Some guys that the Browns brought back. How important is bringing back Rashard Higgins to what the Browns, want to do? He's a guy that Baker Mayfield seems to have a chemistry with, without question.
Yeah, you know what? It's just nice for Baker to have Rashard and vice versa. It's good to have somebody that you can look out there and you can say, I know where he's going to be. I know he's going to catch the ball. And a lot of times he's going to catch a touchdown pass. And that's been a cool thing for both Rashard and Baker. They developed that chemistry early on in 2018 in training camp. And it's just, it really came in handy last year when Odell Beckham Jr. got hurt for Rashard to be able to step up into that role the way that he did. And, this is the place for him. I wrote a column today just kind of with a little bit of inside intel into the free agent class. And I just tried to make the point that, this is home for Rashard, basically. He's supposed to be with Baker Mayfield. He's supposed to be with the Cleveland Browns. This is where he's Hollywood. This is where he gets to shine, and so it's good that he came back.
Shift gears a little bit. Have you heard anything from all accounts? Odell Beckham Jr.'s rehab is going really, really well, and that's a great thing to hear for Browns fans.
Oh, it really is. I watch sometimes on his social media the way that he's just completely like running full speed on a treadmill and things like that. He looks really, really good. And I think he's getting great reports from his doctors and his trainers in terms of just how well he's coming along in his rehab. So he looks ready to go to me. I mean, it used to be that a torn ACL was, a very, very serious thing and so hard to come back from. But guys are coming back from them so much easier now, so much faster. And I think Odell will be just fine.
The flip side of that is, and the big question is always, when he gets back, keep in mind Baker Mayfield has developed in this system. So I think that was a little bit of the question why Baker and Odell couldn't get on the same page. I think that's going to be remedied pretty quickly. I think you'll see Baker and Odell kind of fitting together the way everybody thought they would.
I think so. I mean, I really think so, especially if they have an opportunity to get together and work out a little bit this offseason before training camp. That would probably help. Now, I don't know if they'll actually be able to pull that off, but I think that would be good if they could do it because we don't know how much offseason training there will be once again. There might only be one mini camp and then training camp in August or late July. So it would be great if they could get together. But you're right. I think that that Odell will flourish in this offense, just the way the lights came on for Baker Mayfield. I think that Odell will be a beneficiary of that. I don't think it will be a problem.
Flip side of it is I think Kevin Stefanski is a really bright guy, and he will find a way to use somebody with the skill set that Odell Beckham Jr. had. There aren't too many wide receivers that have that skill set.
That's right. And Kevin understands it. And those two guys have gotten close. Kevin knew early on that it was important to make sure that Odell knew how valued he was and just how they thought of him. And he has done a tremendous job of communicating with him. They text each other back and forth. And I do think that he was doing it last year, showing Odell, look, you're important to me. I'm going to have Jarvis throw you the ball and you're going to catch a touchdown pass from Jarvis. And then I'm going to run you on an end around and you're going to score another touchdown. I mean, he single-handedly put the Browns on his back and won that Dallas game. So they know what he's all about.
Last thing I'll ask you before I let you go. The Browns have done such a nice job in free agency. Do you have an idea, a position group or a couple of positions you think they may look at with that first-round pick at number 26?
The beauty of it is they don't have to draft anything. When they went into the draft last year and we knew that they did not sign a Trent Williams, you knew they were going to take a left tackle for the most part at number 10. You just knew that was going to happen. This year, it's not like that, although my mind keeps kind of veering towards the edge rusher, the pass rusher there. But they don't have to do that. They if their guy isn't there, I don't think that they are going to necessarily be locked into any one position. I think they'll be able to let the draft come to them to a certain extent because they are in pretty good shape in most spots.
Mary Kay Cabot, Browns beat reporter here on cleveland.com, as well as in the pages of the Plain Dealer. As always, appreciate the time and the insight. We appreciate Mary Kay Cabot's time. We have timeout coming up, and then a special treat. We're going to head down to Goodyear, Arizona, and we're going to hear from a 23-year-old left-handed pitcher for the Indians, Logan Allen, who has been the talk of the tribe this spring down in Goodyear, Arizona, has likely pitched his way into this starting rotation. Logan Allen will join us from Goodyear, Arizona after this timeout. Sports4CLE will be right back talking Indians baseball and spring training when we return.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
We're living in uncertain times, but you don't have to put your future on hold. At Tri-C, you can move ahead while staying safe and saving money. The majority of classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, check out Tri-C's programs and resources, because Tri-C is where futures begin.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Do you like Ohio State football? Would you like to get information from me, Doug Lesmerises, about Ohio State football without having to look at my face? We have got the plan for you. Become an Ohio State text subscriber through cleveland.com. You send a text, 614-350-3315. What do you get? 2, 3, 4 texts right in your phone every day about Ohio State football. Inside information, polls, voting, all kinds of things. You can be on our podcast. We take text subscriber questions on our Buckeye Talk podcast every week. If you really want to be involved with Ohio State football, in season or out of season, become an Ohio State tech subscriber from cleveland.com. Send a text to 614-350-3315. 14-day free trial. What do you have to lose? $3.99 a month after that. 614-350-3315. I'll see you in your phone.
Welcome back to Sports4CLE. We turn our attention to the Indians getting ready for the season. A little over a week away. They will open in Detroit a week from Thursday. And we are happy to be joined one of the young pitchers who is doing really well down in Arizona. Logan Allen is making a big pitch to be part of this starting rotation. Logan, appreciate the time very much. How did you approach as you went into spring training this year? A young guy, 23 years old, and very good starting pitching with this organization.
Yeah, thank you, Dave. I approached it a lot different than I have in the past. At the end of last year, we sat down and decided the things I needed to work on and things I wanted to have done, both physically, mentally, pitching mechanics, things like that. And I bought in completely. I came out to Arizona for the entire offseason, worked on my craft, but worked harder than I ever have in my entire life, to be honest. And, having that same mindset as I was coming into camp, knowing that I have, put myself in a good position physically, and, my stuff was playing really well before camp started, and then just taking it right into camp, riding that wave of consistency, a routine. And, there's been plenty of success so far. And I know it's a small sample size, but, the way I've been feeling, the way I've been throwing, the way my bullpens have been going, I'm really excited because I feel like it's just going to keep on climbing. I've been getting better every single time I've gone out there. And, that has a lot to do with the guys that are in this clubhouse and the starting pitching and how strong it really is.
You mentioned that, and all the guys are young. You have Shane Bieber, you have Zach Plesac, you have Aaron Savali. Those are guys that have been developing and then getting it done at the major league level. What have you taken away from a guy like Shane Bieber? That's a guy that has won a Cy Young, is a younger pitcher, but has already had immense success at the major league level. What'd you take away from watching him?
Just his poise and his never panic, and just really, he wants to get better every day. No matter what was going on, there was always something he was ready to attack and work on, never got complacent. And, that was a good thing, having him out here in the offseason too with me, bouncing things off of him, working together on stuff. Cause, he was still, working on stuff with his sliders, keeping his mechanics flowing how he wants to. And it was a big part of it. And not just, him. Aaron Savali's been a big help for me, especially, with the development of my curveball and sharpen it up a little bit. And then, Zach Plesac, Shane's been great as far as, being able to see and do it. But the motivating aspect from Plesac, I've thrown with him every single day of camp, unless, he's in the game or I'm in the game. So it's been good throwing with him and being able to push each other. And, that's kind of the big aspect of camp when you have this much talented starting pitching, being able to, motivate and challenge each other and really, push each other to be the best that, we can be as a group. And I'm really excited for what the starting rotation this year has.
You guys are not only talented, you're young, and does that make it kind of even that much more of a group kind of mentality that, some people may be questioning because you are young, but I got to believe you guys believe, this is going to be a really special starting rotation.
Absolutely. And people can say what they want, they can think what they want, but us being young, I think it makes us dangerous. I think people can sleep on, a lot of the youth on this team. We got dogs in the starting rotation. We've got dogs on the on our infield, our outfield, in our minor league system. People are, we don't care that we're young. I mean, I'm telling you, people are sleeping on that, but it definitely makes us dangerous, in my opinion, especially with how far we can truly take it with our group. This group is super tight. We're super excited. And I think people are gonna be
woken up a little bit to the fact that, the starting rotation is the real deal, regardless of what you see on, ESPN, SportsCenter, whatever it is. Like, this starting rotation is highly underrated.
When you look at yourself, and you mentioned how hard you worked, what has been the biggest thing that's translated into the spring? And when I talk to anybody who has seen the spring that's gone on down in Goodyear, the first thing they say is, man, Logan Allen is throwing the ball really well. What are you doing? What's enabled you to have the start to this spring that you have?
Routines, the consistency, everything from the day I pitched to the day before I pitched to back at it again is all the same throughout the week. And that's, I put myself in that position by, starting with the diet and cutting 35 pounds and gaining strength and mobility and working on my mechanics, and all these things that I built a routine with my diet, translated to a routine with my mechanics. It translated a routine with my bullpens, and it's gone out into the game. And it's shown itself that it works, and it's shown that it has the ability to be dominant. So in my head, I'm not changing a single thing. I'm going to keep doing exactly what I'm doing, and I'm going to go out there and win as many ball games as I possibly can this year.
How much does that please you? Because you mentioned the work that you put in, and really you've changed your lifestyle. When you see the success translate at an early stage, does it make that much more worth it? Because it was a sacrifice that you put in, and it wasn't just a couple of months.
Absolutely, and it's nice to see some of the benefits from it, but at the same time, I didn't do this to get a pat on the back and to get to the point I'm at right now. Like, this is just the beginning. This is the starting point I put myself in, and now it's time to continue going and growing and continue on the path that I'm on. It is nice to reap the rewards for some of this and show that the work I put in is translating. But like I said, it's the beginning. This isn't the finish line. It's just, I got to continue to attack everything I'm doing and control everything that I can control, and then go out there and hopefully be dominant.
When we're seeing you do what you've done in the spring, what are you doing on the mound? What are some of the keys to getting Logan Allen what he can be? I mean, you're highly thought of. The fact that you were traded twice shows you, organizations value what you are, which is a left-handed pitcher that can throw strikes and is kind of a power guy. But tell me the type of pitcher that you are when it's going well out there.
Last year, the kind of pitcher that I was a guy that had good stuff but couldn't control it. It was inconsistent. My thing coming into spring training is all the work I put in. The fastball, the slider, curveball, changeup, all those are plus pitches that play. They work. And for me, it made it really simple. It's throw strikes, attack the zone, attack hitters, and let all the work I've done with these pitches do it itself. I don't have to be more than just who I am. My good slider that I throw in the bullpen is the same good slider I'm going to throw in the game. So as far as, who I am on the mound now, like it's just throwing strikes. I'm not saying throwing fastballs down the middle in this. It's hitting my spots and just focusing on attacking the zone. You get beat when you fall behind hitters. You get beat when you walk guys. And, 9 times out of 10, you throw your pitches, mix it up, throw it in the zone, and, get ahead of hitters. You're going to have pretty good results.
Logan Allen, keep doing what you're doing. Can't wait to see you over at Progressive Field during the regular season, getting some of those regular season starts. Logan Allen, thanks so much for the time. Appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate you.
All right, Logan Allen, starting pitcher for the Indians, who has been the talk of spring training with the Tribe. They open the season in a little over a week in Detroit. We're going to step aside, take a quick time out. On the other side of break, John Fanta joins us, and we're talking NCAA tournament. He picked a couple of those upsets. Let's see who John likes moving forward in the Sweet 16. Sports4CLE will be right back. Stay with us.
Tri-C is here for you. Now more than ever, you need a post-secondary education. So I encourage you to start your journey here at Tri-C. The majority of classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your 4-year plans have changed, Tri-C is where futures begin.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Well, hello, everyone. Let me tell you a little bit about Brown's Football Insider. For only $3.99 a month, you can get text sent right to your phone each day from me, Dan Lobby, Scott Pasco, and Ellis Williams. In addition to that, you'll receive a Football Insider newsletter every day with special things from us, things that you won't see anywhere else on the site. You'll get breaking news, analysis, features, film breakdown, and things like that. Texting us directly gives you a great chance to cut through the clutter of Facebook, Twitter, other social media, and avoid the trolls. Also, it's the only way to get your questions on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. So why should you sign up? Try a 14-day free trial. You can cancel at any time. All it takes is one text, but you won't want to cancel. We have hundreds of subscribers join us over the last year. They love it and have stayed with us. We're seeing the Football Insider community grow every week. And it's only $3.99 a month, which is less than 14 cents a day. What I like most about Football Insider is the opportunity to connect with you one-on-one and really communicate with you. So how can you become a Football Insider? You can click on cleveland.com/Browns, the blue banner at the top of the page. Or easier yet, text me at 216-208-3965. Again, that's 216-208-3965.
Sports4CLE continues. We're going to shift gears again and begin talking NCAA college basketball tournament at the Sweet 16 level. Let's welcome in John Fanta. John, a local guy who calls games for FS1 and is our college basketball expert. John, you hit a couple of them out of the park with the upsets. Let's go through a couple of things. Ohio University's run. As a Northeast Ohio guy, you had to love what you saw from the Bobcats.
Absolutely, Dave. It's great to be with you. Big credit to Jeff Bowles and what he has built with the Bobcats. And the reason why Ohio was able to come out on top over Virginia was their offensive versatility and the point guard play of Jason Preston. He has been such a high-level performer for Ohio, and he just was a maestro. As that game went down the stretch, his ability to create plays for his teammates was the difference in that game. Now, Preston last night against Creighton in the round of 32 just didn't find the same luck. 1 for 10 from the field. He did have 7 assists in that game, but a hat tip to Jeff Bowles to come out of the MAC. The Mid-American once again shows why it deserves to be on the 12 or 13 line year in and year out. And I got to tell you, Dave, the story of Jason Preston, that Ohio star, this isn't the last we've heard of him. He's going to have an NBA career, and this was a kid that in high school was aspiring to be a sports journalist and had a couple of college coaches not seen him at an AAU tournament, he would have never gotten his chance. It's an amazing story from a guy who didn't even think about a basketball career to now he's going to have an NBA dream.
Yeah, and heck of a job by Preston. What about Loyola Chicago? That is a team that they're just fun to watch. You know, they got a guy that looks like an offensive lineman who can show footwork and is a really good passer.
A couple of years ago, we would have taken him at left tackle in Cleveland. Cameron Krutwig of Loyola Chicago. He really embodies what the Ramblers mean. And his ability to control the paint against Kofi Cockburn and Illinois. We were just talking about Illinois' national championship hopes, and those are gone because Cameron Krutwig controlled the game for Loyola on Sunday against Illinois. It was an absolutely masterful performance by the Ramblers. What did they do in this game? They got back in transition. Illinois had next to no fast break points, so they didn't let Ayo Dosunmu, an NBA draft hopeful, Cockburn, Trent Frazier, they didn't let them get out on the run. And Loyola Chicago is a team that when they shut you down in the half court, it then becomes frustrating to face them because they don't turn the ball over. And on the offensive end, Loyola Chicago did a tremendous job of going inside out, of not being afraid of establishing Krutwig inside. And yeah, he is that guy that could play basketball forever. Like YMCA league, 60-year-old guy who's going to be able to make something happen on the court because he plays an old school throwback style. And that was just a tremendous performance by Porter Moser's Loyola Ramblers. And I got to tell you, they could very well be sitting in the Final Four. They get a friendly draw with Oregon State in the Sweet 16. They could beat either Houston or Syracuse. You know who they remind me of, Dave? About a decade ago with Brad Stevens and Butler. They play a lot like that old school vintage Butler style because they make you beat them. And the way you have to beat them is with perimeter shooting. If it's not your day, you're going to have a tough time against the Ramblers.
Well, another team that had really good perimeter shooting, Oral Roberts, and they knocked down a couple of guys, including the Buckeyes, a couple of high seeds.
This is an incredible story. Incredible. This school's enrollment is just over 3,000. They are the epitome of the little guy. And here Oral Roberts is taking down Ohio State and Florida. To share some historical perspective to the viewers out there, this is only the second time in NCAA tournament history that a 15 seed is marching on to the Sweet 16. And how have they done it? They have a high major duo. And that's the key to these mid-majors. Do you have one or two stars who would be able to consistently contribute to a high major team? And Oral Roberts has two. They have a kid named Max Asmus, and they have a kid named Kevin O'Banner, who hung 30 on Ohio State and really controlled the way that game was played. What they have is the inside-out duo to continue to be in this tournament. And now they play an Arkansas team that I think is a little tougher than Florida and Ohio State. I don't think Arkansas has been talked about enough nationally for just how well-rounded they are, 4 averaging in double figures, a future pro in Moses Moody, and Eric Musselman, who has taken over that program and has the Razorbacks rolling. So I think the end of the road is about to hit for Oral Roberts. My pick would be Arkansas, but this is an amazing story for ORU to get to this point. Their head coach is part of Scott Drew's coaching tree. Coach Drew is now at Baylor and has a national championship caliber squad. Congrats to Oral Roberts. An incredible run to beat Florida and Ohio State.
Let's talk about a couple of matchups that you think could be upsets again. You picked a couple in that first round. Give me a couple to keep my eye out for in the Sweet 16 round 2.
Doesn't feel like an upset when you're talking about Syracuse, but they are an 11 seed. And Jim Boeheim has found the magic. And guess who he's found it through? His son, Buddy Boeheim, who is playing at an incredibly high level. I am high on the Orange's ability to knock off Houston. And I'm going to tell you why. Houston, right now in their half-court offense, is disjointed. I always look at what a team does in their half-court. Do they rely on hero ball, or do they move the ball consistently? And right now the Cougars are a little bit disjointed in who they are. Rutgers should have beat them. Houston closed the game on a 14-2 run in the last 3.5 minutes. It was a collapse by Rutgers. I really like Syracuse's offense right now. I think they've got not only Boeheim, but they've got Olajai, who's been tremendous for them. And they have really good pieces who understand what it takes to get it done from the perimeter. They also defend. You're talking about a 2-3 zone. So I like the Orange's capabilities here in this game against Houston. I think that they could take down the Cougars this weekend.
Got about 45 seconds left. Tell me about the other one. You Florida State, Michigan. What are you thinking there?
Florida State, Leonard Hamilton has done an amazing job with this crew. They're a bit younger, but watch out for Scotty Barnes, MJ Walker. This team has some versatility. They guard. And Michigan, with the Isaiah Livers injury situation still up in the air, I thought Michigan proved a lot last night because LSU gave them their best punch. I think Florida State's a better coached team than LSU. Florida State's going to defend you for 40 minutes. They're going to rebound. They have a couple of playmakers who, if they get going, the Seminoles could give Michigan a run for their money.
John Fanta, as always, great insight, great stuff. Appreciate the time. John Fanta on the NCAA tournament. So that's going to do it for this edition of Sports4CLE. We will see you again tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Scheduled guest, Zach Jackson, Browns beat reporter from The Athletic. Matt Derry will join us to talk some more Tribe as they get ready to open up the season. We will see you again. Have a great Tuesday. We'll see you again Wednesday right here on Sports4CLE.